Let's look at some of the things you get with the PR Sting that you don't get with other companies and other manufacturers that we just include, with the either with the machine or it's something that, because I run these machines every day, it's one of those things where if it bothers me, if there's something that we can, make better, we just ask ourselves questions. Why is it doing this? How can we make that better? What can we do? I come back here and I tell the guys, hey, let's take a look at, fixing this or doing something with that to make it a little bit simpler, make it a little bit faster, more efficient, and so on. So there's several things that we've done. Now, there's simple things too. The handles, the old handles that were on, all the Borderline machines, a long time ago. A lot of times they would get stuck. You had to, really turn your hand around. These are a lot easier because you can use your, your wrist more than, your whole shoulder. Things like that are just simple. As far as the jack system itself, those screws in there are bigger. When you need to raise that tire really, really fast because there's a piece of concrete coming right up there that you got to climb over, you want to be able to get that up as fast as you can. All the other ones, the screws in there are too fine. It's too fine a thread. So you can really get these, to go up and down, really fast without having to break your arm to do it. Okay, and those are just simple things. As far as your tie rod right here, which obviously connects the tires, pretty simple. Now you're going to have other companies that are going to charge you, an extra $500 or, whatever, to put like a cable system on here. Yes, you can do some sort of cable system on your own, or you can have somebody else put one on. That's fantastic. But we've designed these to, mine has pins on it, and this one will too when it's finished. You can take the tie rod off, and you can go ahead and put a spool of wire right on it, and you can run that wire right through, and it'll go right in, through your plunger and so on. Put a couple things here to make sure it doesn't slide, but it's already set there for you. It's not something we have to charge extra for, or tell you, we put those on for free. It's something that should be on there to begin with. We're the only curb machine, as far as I know, that actually has a brake on the machine. Yes, a PR Sting is going to be slightly heavier than some of those others, but the thing is, when you're going downhill and you need some extra back pressure, to have a brake is sometimes is a lifesaver. And I can tell you, throughout the week on all the jobs that we do here, I'm using that brake probably every day. It's just a simple thing that puts a little bit more back pressure on, a little less worry about compression and cracking. Now, as far as your steering handle, this can be moved, can be adjusted. If you want to steer with your right hand, you can move it over to the other side. That's pretty simple, and it's easy to put on a machine as a manufacturer. And there are some that don't put them on, which is fine, but it's an easy thing to do. Easy, even as far as sliding this back and forth so you can move your machine, it's fairly simple. So if you need to get past a tree or anything like that, you can run that, tighten it up, and you're good to go. As far as back here, that's pretty simple. We're going to get into I'll show you the engine pin here in a little bit. We're the only machine that puts a side plate on here. That's not a big deal to most. To some, it's not a, something that is, they could put on themselves or so on. The thing is, when you're, going a little bit quick and you're throwing concrete in there, to get that concrete to actually go in the hopper, especially when you're hiring young kids and they're not as careful as they should be, and they throw that into the flower bed and so on, it's something that just makes it easier. Now, I've seen, guys that run other machines now actually fabricate their own and put them on the machine because their manufacturer doesn't. You can actually, because every PR Sting and RE500 have the holes in it already. So if you bought a machine 10 years ago or 15 years ago and you'd like one, we have them that will fit your machine. I don't know if other manufacturers are doing that. I would assume not, but it's one of those things that, because we curb every day, it makes it easier for us. And it's just something that's there. As far as the back plate too, there's a couple of machines that don't have a removable back plate like this. Again, it just makes it easier to clean and so on. You know, you can look at the front, and I know we're the only ones that do this. All 4 of these tires are wider. They're pneumatic rubber tires. You know, you spend money on those to make sure that they're good. The thing is, every single machine only has 1 travel tire in the front. Now, if you're pushing this across a yard with thick grass, or even through some softer dirt and things, to have 1 tire on the front, and especially to have a new guy that's trying to push this thing through the grass without tipping it over, is pretty difficult. Even when we used to have just 1 tire, it was at least a wider pneumatic tire. You got other manufacturers that are using this skinny little plastic tire on there, just cheaping out on that. If you don't want to use 2 tires on this, you can take 1 off. It's not a big deal. But as far as getting across the lawn, it makes it pretty simple. And as far as taking them on and off, done, and you're 30 yards from the truck, you go ahead and flip those over, and away you go. Pretty simple that way. Borderline's the only one that actually puts an extra tire on there to make it simpler and easier for guys to get across the lawn. Again, it's because we curb every day, and it's one of the things that bother me over the years. It's pretty easy to just add on there, and that's just something that we do.